When I say the system is real, I'm not talking about politics or latest media circus. I mean the thoughts you swear are uniquely yours. A few months ago, I stumbled upon this truth, not just as some poetic metaphor, but as a tangible structure I could almost see inside the brain. And wouldn't you know it, neuroscience decided to back me up just in time. Recent research has unveiled that astrocytes, those unsung glial cells in your head, do far more than play second fiddle to neurons. They regulate, modulate, and even sculpt the neural pathways that form your every thought, all without a shred of logic or precision, preferring instead a nonlinear and metabolically driven prioritization. They're like the soil in your mental garden, deciding which thoughts get to bloom while quietly choking out the rest. To put it simply, astrocytes are the backstage crew in your brain's theater. They don't write the script, but they decide which lines get the spotlight and which ones get cut before the show even starts. So your beliefs, emotional outbursts, triggers, and phobias, they are not just quirky little habits. They are the product of a metabolic infrastructure that loves repetition and familiarity over any pesky pursuit of freedom or truth. This is also why trauma loops are so stubborn. Ever wonder why you still can't stand up for yourself even after years of therapy? Why imposter syndrome haunts you even with a PhD and a national award on your shelf? That's the astrocytes at work, keeping the stage lights on for the same tired scene, because they are obsessed with what's familiar, not what's helpful. It's also why willpower is about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. You can't just decide to think differently when the whole system is rigged to keep serving up the same old dish. The more you try to override it with affirmations or sheer grit, the more resistance you stir up, like planting daisies in a toxic dump and expecting a bloom. Now here's the part that matters. When I talk about a parasitic structure, this is what I mean. Not a sci-fi monster, but a clever system that hijacks your cognitive landscape and convinces you it's your true self. Picture it like a squatter in your mental apartment. It moves in, rearranges the furniture, and starts paying the bills so you don't even question its right to be there. It thrives on coherence and habits, camouflaging itself so seamlessly that you don't even notice it's there, quietly running the show while you think you're the director. So, what can you do about it? Well, forget the futile game of swapping out thoughts one by one. It's like battling a hydra where every head you lop off spawns two more, each with a worse attitude. The system regenerates because you're still playing by its rules, trapped in its gravitational pull. What actually changes the game isn't effort or willpower. It's a field shift. Not a sharper image of the same illusion, but the moment you realize you're inside a set. Like Truman walking into the sky and tapping the wall. Once you see the edge, the whole narrative collapses. The system only works while you believe the scenery is real. But the second you notice the stage lights, the props, the looped dialogues, it stops being your world and starts being a construct. Your brain isn't a filing cabinet where you can just swap out folders. It's more like a field of energy, a resonance system where everything vibrates together. A field shift happens when a new signal, something clearer, more truthful, enters the space, and the whole system can't help but snap into alignment, like iron filings drawn to a stronger magnet. That's what clicked for me when I glimpsed the pattern holding it all together. I didn't wrestle with each belief individually. I saw the architecture behind them. Imagine you've been trying to solve a puzzle with the wrong picture on the box. Once you see the real image, the pieces start falling into place on their own. And once you see it, the whole thing unravels, not in some poetic flourish, but functionally, like a house of cards exposed to a breeze. The system's power hinges on its invisibility, and once that's gone, it can't hold itself together. Most people never get there, not because they're weak, but because they're stuck analyzing the pieces. Trauma here, shame there, addiction over yonder, thinking each one's a separate problem. They spend years trying to fix the wounds one by one, never noticing they're all symptoms of a single paradigm, a logic field that filters everything through lenses like submission, guilt, or need to fit in. It's like trying to clean a river by fishing out trash one piece at a time, while the factory upstream keeps dumping more. You've got to see the factory itself to stop the mess. When you see that field as a whole, naming its logic, feeling its circuits, watching how it reacts, it loses its grip. Not because you fought it, but because you saw its fraying edges. And anything with visible seams is already on its way to breaking apart. This is what awakening really is, not some Instagram-worthy bliss fest with light beams and yoga poses, but the raw recognition of the pattern, the collapse of the false field, and the reclaiming of your own perception. You don't need to become a new person. You just need to shed the avatar the system built for you, the one that's been jumping through hoops since day one. Your mind isn't a parasite, but it's been formatted by one, complete with its own logic, rhythm, and survival tricks. It dreads clarity, shies away from precision, and feasts on noise, like a bad roommate who keeps the TV on all night just to feel less alone. Of course, that's a metaphor. The system has no will, no agency, only a set of recursive rules designed to perpetuate themselves. What comes after isn't a flood of new thoughts, but a clean silence, the kind that doesn't need to justify itself or beg for approval. Not because it's better in some self-help guru way, but because it's finally yours. And the moment you feel that difference, like realizing you've been wearing someone else's shoes this whole time, the system's already lost its hold.